What's going on, Junkie Nation? Gorgeous George and Goes, always delivering the big names in the sport of mixed martial arts. Today we get to talk to Arianny Celeste, a six-time winner of the World MMA Awards Best Ring Card Girl. Now she's doing hosting duties, and she's literally been part of the UFC for almost 2 decades. How are you, Arianny? Good to catch up with you.
I am good. How are you?
Good, thank you.
Good.
It's been a while since we spoke. A lot's happened. We found out about a month or so ago that you retired from the catwalk, the ring card girl duties, where everyone's known you from, and we have seen you in the role that you are now hosting and things like that. But that one kind of snuck by us. Did you mean for it to be kind of quiet and classy and just exit like that, or did just something happen along the way where that's the way it had to be?
Yeah, I feel like I outgrew the whole ring girl thing, and I became a woman. I became a mom, and I was like, there has to be something that I can do that's a little bit more fulfilling within the company. And I went ahead and pitched a show to Dana and Craig Bersari, and they loved it. So here I am. I wasn't expecting to put the ring card girl thing down forever, but I think once Brittany did, I was like, okay, I'm cool with it. Like, I didn't need this big hurrah to like be out of that, because I kind of mentally was already out of the game of the ring card girl stuff. Oh my gosh. And getting the show was just solidified everything for me.
And after seeing Brittany kind of have, I guess, that formal exit, does part of you feel like maybe down the road, you don't have to commit to anything, obviously, but maybe down the road you would like to do that one more time and let your fans wave to you, or just you experience it one last time?
Yeah, I wouldn't mind it. I still feel great in a bikini, and I work out all the time. So it's not a matter of if I'm ready, but I guess if the fans would want to see it, they have to ask the boss. Yeah.
Well, I think there's 2 of us, unless Goes rejects my idea, but I think UFC 300, you got to do it, right?
I think so.
Yeah, that would be cool. That's a big one.
Yeah. International Fight Week. Well, there's one of those every year, but those round century marks, they come around, I think, every 5 or 6 or something like that. So I think this would be a nice way to say bye to fans. Goes and I have been fans of yours, honestly. You've done such a great job with this. I remember you one time told us, because Rochelle, Leah, Anna Nicole, they were there, I think, when you started, Ali Sonoma, and I don't mean this to demean if they're your friends still or whatever, but I think they moved on because they thought they kind of like outgrew it. And I remember you told us once, I made a career out of it. And I thought, man, good for you. You really did. You took it to a new level.
Yeah, I think, I got as much as I could out of it. I made a career out of it. I made a whole life out of it. I was able to make a great living, and I said yes to pretty much every job that was thrown at me, every opportunity, every appearance, every nightclub thing, every signing. And I was able to create something for myself and become like an entrepreneur and really take charge of my life, my finances, and all that. So I feel really good about my journey as a ring girl. But now it's time to kind of move on, I think.
Who thought of the new role? Was that an idea someone put in your head, or did you come up with it on your own?
No, I think there comes a time where you're just like, okay, I've been doing this for, like 18 years, almost 20 years. So what's next? What can I do within the company that's going to make me valuable, but also like catapult me to where I'm a little bit more respected in the community, maybe. Like, yes, it's cute to walk around in a bikini, but can I do that forever and still be respected? I'm not sure. Like, it's a hard question for me, because obviously I like to keep it classy and sexy, but there just comes a time where you got to move on, I think.
Did you almost fall into also wanting to like just move on from the UFC and not make a career out of it, much like the other young ladies I mentioned earlier?
No, I mean, I've always seen myself on TV. I've always told people that Brooke Burke is my idol. And I thought there is a missing piece within the UFC. Our fans are the biggest part of the sport. They're why we are here. So why not create a show that is based on our fans that will
Yeah.
show appreciation to our fans, but also show the lifestyle of, we're almost like a traveling circus. We have people who have been in this company for years and years, and we travel together. We go to restaurants together. We are searching for the best food, the best nightclubs. Well, it used to be the best nightclubs, but stuff like that. So why not show the lifestyle outside of just fighting? Because we're so much more within the fans and all that. So that's where my idea came for the show. And I've hosted shows before, so it just felt like a natural fit to kind of go that way. And it's still kind of like within my comfort zone because I'm still around the people that I've worked with for years and years. I'm not catapulting into a brand new company, so I still kind of have like my security blanket on. So, yeah.
Oh, you're on mute, George.
I can't hear you.
Yeah, I apologize. I was gonna say, in no way was it like some sort of a bitter exit from the sport or your current job or anything like that. I mean, seems like you still love the UFC. You wanted to stay with them.
Yeah.
You just felt like you wanted to move on to a new role.
Yeah. And,
Okay.
I had a baby in 2020 and like I went back to work, honestly, like 3 months after I had him. And I feel like there was so much pressure to like be back to normal and be perfect and fit into my ring girl outfit. And that was all pressure from me, by the way, not from anybody else. But I kind of wish that I would have just taken my time instead of just going right back in, because I feel like I was traveling after he was only 3 months old, and I just wish I would have slowed down,
Yeah.
because now he's like 3 years old and he feels like a teenager. So I'm like, yeah.
I got you. Who gave you the most meaningful congrats after we all found out you were retired? I'm sure you spoke with a lot of people, but was there anyone that you thought, that was very nice of that person? Maybe it was words they shared or anything like that, or maybe someone that you didn't have much contact with, but yet they went out of their way to say something.
I would say the top two was John Anik. He always says the nicest things about me. He's always calling me the GOAT, and he also wants me to walk again, but again, it's not my choice. So also Dana called me and he's like, you know what, babe, you're always going to be in the UFC, whatever you want, like if it goes within the company, of course I have your back and you'll always be part of the UFC. So those two really made my day. Getting love from them always is nice.
Arianny, looking back, if it is 18 years, that's a long time. Do you not necessarily have any regrets, but maybe things that you would want to do a different way?
Regrets? No, honestly, I feel like, especially within the company, I did everything. Like I said, I never said no to any job or opportunity. And I feel like that really catapulted my career. And I got to see so many different places at a very young age. So I really don't regret any of it. No.
If you don't choose to do UFC 300, I have another idea for you.
Okay.
Because you've done this for so long and you've seen so many things that I'd hate for you to miss out on one thing. I think that fear card, that'd be kind of cool. You got to be a part of that. I think that'd be cool to see you do that.
Okay, what's the fear card?
The
Fear? Oh, the sphere. Okay.
Yeah,
I thought you said fear. Yeah, that would be incredible. I've never been to that place, but it looks really, really cool. So maybe we'll have to start a campaign with the fans and see if they can tell Dana.
I think you were more warm to 300 than the sphere, though, right?
I think 300 is a big number. Yeah, I mean, it's gonna be very, very special, I believe. So That would be really cool.
I
Do them
think you
both.
should, do them both. And I think you should have your moment where you do one more walk, except your card should say 18. If those are how many years you've done this, do one with the 18 and go
Oh
around
my
one
God,
time.
it's gonna make me feel old, but yeah, 18. Woo! I started when I was 10. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah.
I think when you made that excellent point one time about making this a career. When you sit back now, because this is something that you told us quite a while ago, looking at it now, what do you think is like the one defining thing about what you've done here with the UFC?
I was able to, I think, turn a novelty into a career. Like, not a lot of ring girls have a career outside of what they do besides, taking pictures and looking cute. I was able to turn into a business. I got to model for some of the biggest companies. I got to shoot for some of the biggest magazines, and I've just lived such a incredible life, and the roller coaster that I've been on has been such a good one, like a blessed life. I've seen so many different countries. I've met so many different people, and the people that I work with now, they're just so, we all kind of look out for each other. So it just feels nice to be a part of that kind of company, where everyone's kind of rooting for each other. So
Let's close with a couple questions outside the box. I'm sure you're going to get asked this a lot. What's your favorite city, your favorite, and all that. I mean, all cities are pretty cool, honestly. You can always find stuff. But what I want to
yeah.
ask you was, if we could just pick you up and put you in a city and you had to commit to living there for 1 year, which city would you pick?
Okay. If I had to commit to one city that's like far away, as long as I
Yeah.
had my baby with me, I would live in Sydney for sure. Sydney,
Sydney.
Australia.
Okay. What did
Nice.
you like about Sydney?
I love the food. I love the weather. I love the beach. The people are really nice, and everybody's very like health conscious and fit. So everyone's working out. You see people like just running on the beach, and just everyone seems so happy. And the food's really
What's
good.
okay? What's the most exotic food you've ever tried abroad?
Ooh, huh. Um,
Like frog legs or something? I don't know.
oh wow. I haven't really ventured out that much with food.
Mm,
No. I'm very picky with my food, kind of.
mhm.
Like I only
You
eat
know,
fish. I've never really had a steak. I've had like one bite of steak recently because I was doing an episode on a steakhouse. So I had my first taste of steak. So that just tells you I'm not real adventurous when it comes to food.
how long has
Um,
it been since you've had steak? You're a vegetarian now or vegan or?
no, I eat fish and some chicken,
Mhm.
um, and some meat.
You just cut.
I'm more
Okay.
of a texture person. So like the texture of a steak, I'm not really fond of. So I have
Mm.
never really had a steak. Back in the day when I was like a kid, my parents, they would take me to carne asada all the time, and I would literally like tell them to burn the meat until it
Mm,
like was almost like beef jerky, because
mhm,
it was a consistency thing. Like I didn't like to feel that I was eating an animal, I guess. I don't
mm,
know. There's a certain texture to steak that I just can't handle.
mhm. Did you ever do an event where you were just completely sick as a dog, but no one noticed because you perked up at the right time when you had to do your job?
Yes, back in the day, this was MSG.
Oh wow.
I always seem to get sick around my birthday in November, and it's always at MSG, so in New York. I remember I was like sick as a dog, and I went back, and I don't know if it was Craig or Dana who saw me, and they're like, "You just need to lay down for a little bit. It's okay. You can take the night off." So I just kind of rested backstage, but I still did a couple rounds because.
Mhm. I know you probably get asked a lot, like your favorite fighters or maybe favorite moments. But what I wanted to ask you, it doesn't have to be a favorite fighter, but was there a moment that almost brought you to tears, like a retirement or a Hall of Fame announcement or just something else?
Yeah, I mean, I'm always gonna go back to the good old days when there wasn't as many fighters.
Mm-hmm.
So the Stephen Bonner and Griffin fight, that was like a classic. And
Mm-hmm.
also when BJ won 2 titles, I think BJ Penn had just changed weights or whatever, and he won a title, and he was like, I just remember him being full of blood and just like licking his body, and I was like, wow, he is a savage. And that was a crazy moment. So I feel like I miss those like old school crazy fights. I mean, there's still crazy fights, but yeah.
So those didn't necessarily make you cry. They just kind of like got you out of your seat as a fan, right? Like a fight fan.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
All right. How about the Hall of Fame? I brought it up. Many would say you, Brittany, could go in that Hall of Fame. Have you thought about it? What would it mean to you?
Yeah, I think it would be an honor to be a part of the Hall of Fame. So again, talk to the boss and see what he says. I don't know if ring girls are allowed to be in the Hall of Fame, but it'd be nice to if
They have
if they
what's
decide
called a
to.
contributor wing, and
Okay.
there's been television execs in there, non-fighters, and obviously there's a fight wing, and then there's the modern and the pioneer wing. So the old school guys and gals, or mostly guys, because I guess the modern wing is when women's MMA came aboard. But there's also the contributor wing. So it has been talked about, at least by the fans I talk about, that they would think that you qualify.
Dang, that's an honor. So
Mm-hmm.
hopefully, maybe one day.
I'll give an example so you don't think I'm trying to set you up, because I would never do that. But I'm curious. I'm a curious fight fan. I'm a curious fan of a lot of the people involved in our sport. Jorge Masvidal and Michael Bisping did not like each other. It was like it's on site type thing. And next thing you know, they talked it out and it was cool. And I wanted to ask you, back in the day, about a decade ago, you and Ronda Rousey didn't necessarily have that kind of beef, but there was a little bit of just didn't seem like you guys were fans of each other. Did you ever talk to her, and was you guys cool now or anything like that?
No, I never talked to her. I kind of just avoided the whole situation just because I didn't even know her. So for me, it was understandable a little bit though, because she's a fighter. I'm a ring girl. At the time, I believe I was the female face of the UFC, and here comes this amazing athlete. But she's like, "Who are you? Like, you're the face of the UFC? No. I'm going to be." So I get it. It's like a competitive thing, but I think the way she handled herself was not cool. But to each their own. I feel like she's a little bit more aggressive in nature, so to each their own. Like she didn't make me sweat at all. Like I was perfectly fine. I just ignored the situation.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, you did always seem like a pretty peaceful person, not a dramatic person at
I'm
all.
pretty peaceful unless you mess with me. So I definitely did call Dana. I was like, what do I do about this? And he was able to calm me down, because it didn't affect me, but it did bother me, because I'm like, hey, I don't even know this person. What should I do? Why is she being like this? And after thinking about it and like letting it sizzle, I kind of got her perspective a little bit more.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
It's funny because you brought something up. You said, I'm a peaceful person and I'm reminded of a story. I think a mutual friend of ours, I'm not sure if you're still in contact with her. Her name was Tamara, Miss Rara. You two might have had an incident outside the Hard Rock or something like that. Was that you that had to throw down, or her, or was it maybe not as big of a deal as I'm maybe remembering? Do you remember something like that?
She actually was ready to like kick his ass. She had her arms up and she was ready to kick him, literally. And I don't remember what the guy did, but I think he was pretty drunk. So we were ready to throw down, but again, it wasn't that big of a deal, I don't think.
Okay.
He was more too
What would have
drunk
been
to know what was going on.
What would have been your street move? Like, were you ready to just, sock them from
I had
out of nowhere?
like
Or?
strong legs and kicks, I would say.
Like a running knee, like Masvidal did to Askren, something like that. Jumping knee, sorry.
Jumping knee with like a round kick or something.
Mm-hmm. All right.
Yeah.
All
Wow.
right. Well, there you go. Don't mess with Arianny on the
Yeah.
street. She gets down.
Yeah.
That's hilarious. All right. Well, listen, thank you so much for the time you've always given us. Hopefully we can keep in touch and talk about your new role once you get a bunch of those shows under your belt. Congrats on a fabulous career. I think a Hall of Fame career. I really do believe you belong in the contributor wing because, as I told you, I think a few times you were on the show, I was in Anaheim one time. And when the fighters come out, when Rogan comes out and then he announces Dana and Bruce, and I think it was Goldberg at the time and everyone else, everyone gets fired up. And if you remember, in Anaheim, they did it outdoors. And I just remember the fans going berserk for the ring card girls. And you were obviously, super popular and all that. And so I know that you guys also drew fans to our sports. So we thank you for that. And thanks for representing the sport, very classy. And you guys have done a great job. So congrats on great careers, you and Brittany, but you here because we're talking to you.
Thank you so much.
All right.
Happy to be a part of it.
Thank you again for the time. We'll talk to you soon.
Okay.